Tommy,
Yeah.
good to see you again, man.
Good to see you.
Hello, Silver fans. This is T, and you're in the place to be for Silver education, acquisition, and entertainment. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Just west of Indianapolis, Indiana, in Avon, there is a really neat coin shop with a super cool owner. Hey, if you enjoy coin shop videos, be sure to subscribe. Yeah. So how you been, man?
We've been busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like the first quiet all day as far as no phone, no foot traffic. This is the first bit of quiet we had today.
I appreciate you making some time for me. What time do you normally close up shop?
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, appreciate you coming out and making the trip. And
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure, man.
apparently you had an exciting morning.
Yeah, I was in conferences basically all day long. And now, this is pleasurable, very pleasurable to come hang out, look at your shop, see what you got here. And you just took in a huge collection?
We did. It was fairly sizable. Most of it is 90% stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
As all your, I'm sure your folks are familiar with that. But
and you were just popping Mercury Dimes out of an album just a minute ago, and
yep. There's I think I've peeled through most of them. There's some folders down there that have some halves that I still haven't got through, but it's just average circulated stuff. So, ends up in the silver bins.
Yeah, you just pop it right out, toss it in there.
Pop it all out and toss it in there.
Don't toss any 16Ds in there, man.
I haven't knowingly done that. I do know I had bought 90% from another dealer a little while back, and one of the customers was pretty excited because he got a 21D Walker in the 90%.
Oh.
That was like we got a fine, so it's a decent little score. So somebody somewhere along the lines was just popping them out, and of course, if I buy that as 90%, I'm not gonna look at it because I just assumed that they already did. So he got a bonus.
There you go.
Yeah.
You and I did a video a while back. You introduced me to the lowball collecting and lowball registries.
Yeah, did you find one?
Yeah, I did. Oh, I just like you, maybe not as big as your collection that you just took in today, but I bought a collection a while back, and it's in my other pocket. And I found one that I'm not sure is a candidate. So I'm going to show, I'll show the camera here, then I'll hand it over to you, because I know there's certain qualifications. It can't be like intentionally like rubbed off or sandpapered, and this kind of just looks like something that was in somebody's pocket, for a lifetime. I don't know, your expertise, my friend. What do you think of that?
So there's too much of the date remaining.
Okay.
So I think that if you send this in, you're going to get it in a fair or an FR2.
Okay.
I don't really see anything on here that indicates damage in addition to wear. I guess technically a grader might not like some of that coloring and call it staining, but I think it's a low enough grade coin that wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
But especially on like a 22 piece dollar, being that that's a fairly prevalent date to get it into a poor one, the date is going to have to be almost completely gone.
I see.
So on this one, both 2s are full. The 9 is like 8/10 there, and the one to the left is roughly 3/4 still there. So I think if you send it in, you're going to get a 2, which isn't going to be far enough down to get you into the the low ball category. So you could carry it around in your pocket for a few more years and then send it. I think you'd get there.
There you go. Well, thank you for sharing your expertise. I saw this, I immediately thought of you. And the other thing I brought for you to look at, give your expert opinions, a 28 series, a $2 bill. And what's interesting about this one is it's like cockeyed. It's like tilted to the side. And I don't know if you're an expert on paper currency. I know you know your stuff, Tommy. But it's a little odd. It's cool that it's old.
I see.
And it's a $2 bill, but it's definitely like tilted to the side. Does that make it worth any more money? And trust me when I tell the audience, it's not in great condition or anything like that. But it caught my eye. I thought, well, it's worth asking about.
I don't believe it's a printing issue. I believe it's how it was cut.
Okay.
And the reason why I think that is, so at the top here, there's a marker that would have been on your original sheet, and the distance from here to here is less than here to here. So on that original sheet, when they went and did the cut, they were just off a little bit when they cut this, and so that gives you the illusion that it's, you know, at that angle. Because what it is it's not that the printing is off; it's that when they cut it, it was like just like that.
Yeah.
And that's what did that.
Do you think someone had a whole sheet of $2 bills and cut it like that purposely or mistakenly, or
I think it happened at the Bureau of Printing and Engraving.
Okay.
Is what I think.
Does that make it worth any more money, or is that just, you know, just make it a little more interesting? But
it's kind of interesting. I don't think it's extreme enough to really bring you a big premium.
Yeah.
Again, it's always a matter of just having the right people that want something put on auction. Two guys really like it.
Yeah.
It could be crazy, but I've seen quite a few that have little discrepancies on centering or cutting from that period. So it is neat, though.
Yeah, it's something a little
very,
different.
very
And
cool.
you know, the world of numismatics is so involved. There's so much to learn. And a lot of us stackers are kind of making the transition from just stacking the weight and putting the metal in our safes to interesting things catching our eyes. And, you know, before you know it, you find yourself with a collection. But speaking of $2 bills, you told me earlier when I called that you've had an influx of phone calls.
We did. So I don't know who's responsible for that. There's, I guess, circulating articles, and in the titles of the articles, they say something along the lines of, you know, don't spend your $2 bills. They could be worth a lot of money, or these $2 bills are worth a lot of money, or some verbiage of that nature. And so you have a lot of calls about that. There are some that are collectible. I don't really like the phrase "worth" the word in terms of the hobby, because it always depends on what somebody is willing to pay. You can generally tell which articles are going to be reputable based on language. So if the article is written at about a 5th grade level, and I'm totally serious, I don't mean that to be rude. I'm very serious. You know that it's not good. If it has ads all over the place, it's not good.
Yeah.
If it's an article about coins, for example, and it says something about these coins were printed, well, coins are not printed.
Yeah. You know, I've come across some of those sometimes. You say you're on Google and you click on an article that has to do, or you look something up that has to do with coins, and then, of course, Google fills your feed with articles on coins. I have noticed some of those over the years that were obviously written by a reporter or somebody that knows absolutely nothing about coins.
I've wondered if some of them were written by children. I'm serious.
You mentioned you had some gold and words of wisdom to share with my viewers. And
I do.
Is this part of that collection from earlier?
This is, well, some of this was already here. This all came in from somebody a little bit ago.
Okay.
And so I don't know if it was them that they had done this, but somebody lost a fair amount of money. This is gold. It is genuine, but they did kind of a no-no thing.
Okay.
So these are proof gold eagles, which are fairly collectible.
Those are proof.
Yep. These are proof gold eagles, and they are not in their original packaging anymore. So they would have originally been in. They would be in a capsule, and they would be in a box, you know, something like this, with a COA, a little felt box. If you have gold eagles, proof gold eagles, or buffaloes for that matter, and you remove them from this packaging, and then I don't know if you can tell on your camera, it's not terribly hideous. But you will see this has handling on it. That's been in somebody's pocket, or they put it in their bathtub and dove into it like Scrooge McDuck. I don't know what they did to it, but they've handled it. And so that coin, instead of carrying, I'd have to look online to see exactly where those are trending right now. But they're probably trending spot plus, let's say, spot plus 600 or something like that. And so when you put it in your pocket and you fool around with it like that, you know, now most dealers are probably not even going to give you melt, because it's now a compromised item.
I wonder if, this is a possibility. A lot of times collectors pass away, their families dive into their coins, and they have no idea what they're doing. What percentage of the collections that you get are people that are just ready to sell, and what percentage come from people who have passed?
So probably half are things that are inherited. I don't generally see collectors sell their entire collections. We get a lot of collectors that come in here and they'll sell 2 or 3 pieces because they found something else they want to buy. They want to buy, a motorcycle or a rifle or some real estate or whatever the case may be. And so they'll sell a few items to get them the money that they need. But it's pretty unusual for me to see somebody that's, hey, I'm getting out of this hobby totally. I'm going to sell everything off.
Yeah.
Occasionally I see that. I see that if people get bad news at the doctor. And they find out that, you probably don't have a lot to go. And they're like, well, I don't really want my wife or my kids to have to flow with this. I want to sell it and just liquidate it. And so we do see that too. But yeah, that's where the stuff comes from.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, I guess everybody, no matter what age you are, you have to kind of think of an exit plan. And at the very least, I would suggest that people label their stuff so their kids or their grandkids, when they inherit their collections, have a vague idea at least what it is and where to start their research. Absolutely.
So when we have people come in and they buy bullion, and maybe they're going to just check it in the safe or whatever, a lot of times we'll advise just go ahead and put the receipt with that, and that way kids end up with it. They should have some indication, at least of what you paid for it, that this is a good thing, because we get calls of people who say, I inherited this from my dad or my grandpa or whoever, and I have no idea what I have. I don't know what it is. That's not really a position that you want to be in as a seller. You want to have some kind of a knowledge, so it's a little better to say, hey, I inherited this. Looks like my dad bought it 5 years ago, and it was $50,000. Now you have something.
Yeah.
It's a better standpoint than being completely blind.
Yeah. Speaking of buying bullion, you told me when I walked in that somebody came here from Kentucky?
Yeah. First thing he says, I hear there's no sales tax on bullion in Indiana. Is that true? I said, yeah. I saw you on T's channel, and then he made the drive up. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's quite an honor that somebody watched my channel and made that long of a drive. And
I definitely appreciate it. It's
cool,
kind of fun. It's good stuff.
I appreciate your time, my friend, and I'm looking forward to doing a little shopping in here. Thanks again, Tommy. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Hey, special thank you to these channel members who support my efforts to bring you videos just like this one. If you'd like to join the growing ranks of channel members, just hit that little join button below. Thank you for watching. Now let me show you what I purchased. Sometimes you just walk into a coin shop and you're in the mood to pick up some Morgan dollars, and that's what happened to me. And take a look at these beauties that I picked up. Hey, if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more of Tommy, be sure to click on one of those videos that you see on the left or right down on the screen. Thanks for watching, everybody.